All right, so all I have to do is plug this into the switch and it just works? Where's the challenge in that? On Vita Island, we do things a little differently. All right, so I think I got a couple different options here for making this work. First, let's check for PlayStation Vita TV compatibility. And of course not, that would be too easy. So the first thing I'm gonna have to do is hack the whitelist to play the game that I legit purchased on the system that I purchased it for. There used to be a pretty gentle way of hacking the whitelist to allow the system to play all of your games, but that was patched with a stability update. So I'm gonna have to go full Enzo on this thing. Now this isn't something that I feel comfortable teaching others to do because it's a really slippery slope on the Vita. I mean, 1 minute you're just trying to play the games that you legit purchased, and the next thing you know, you're sailing the seas with Captain Hook. But there are plenty of tutorials on that already anyway. All right, so this is a Nintendo Switch controller. There's probably no way this will just work. Okay, I didn't think so. All right, so I got a bunch of hardware together and spent a lot of time testing it out. I got 2 different drums. These are both budget options, basically the cheapest drums I could find. And then I also tested 2 different models of a popular controller adapter. So I got the Titan 1 and the Titan 2 console tuners. Now for the drums, first I tested this Nintendo Switch drum, which obviously I knew wouldn't work plugged straight in, but I was expecting to use it with the controller adapters. And I tested it with both the Titan 1 and Titan 2 controller adapters, and it only worked with the Titan 2, which I thought was pretty surprising because I've never had a problem with the Titan 1 working with any other controllers in the past. Lots of arcade sticks and everything. I've used lots of different controllers on the PlayStation TV using this thing. But for whatever reason, this Nintendo Switch drum requires the Titan 2. Now the nice thing about the Titan 2 though is that it does support keyboard and mouse, so you can have actually 2 different inputs merged into one. And the whole reason I bought this actually was to use a flight stick. I have a flight stick that has the stick as one joystick and then the thruster as the second joystick. So it actually uses 2 USB ports, and I needed it to merge into one controller output. So this works great for that, works great for mouse and keyboard, works great for pretty much everything. But the Titan 2 is a bit more expensive than the Titan 1. Then I ended up purchasing one more drum to test. This one is supposed to have PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and PC compatibility, and it was the same price. So this was actually a really good price. It looks completely identical to the Nintendo Switch one, only it just supports more different devices. So I'm gonna put links to all of this hardware down below if there's anything that you're interested in picking up. If you already have a Taiko drum, then I would probably suggest going with something like the Titan 1 or the Titan 2. The Titan 1 should work with almost everything, probably just not this specific Nintendo Switch model drum. If you don't already have a Taiko drum and you're interested in picking one up, I recommend getting this one. So when I tested this one actually works without using any controller adapters in the PlayStation TV. So this is actually PlayStation TV compatible, which is surprising because I've found that maybe 95% of the arcade sticks that I've tested on the PlayStation TV have not been compatible with it, and I've always required one of these adapters. So I figured if anything isn't gonna work, it's gotta be the drum, right? Well, this particular brand works. So I'm putting the link for this drum in the description below, but not this one because they were the same price, and this just does the same, but more, and is more compatible. Now that being said, if you do use this PlayStation compatible Taiko drum, then just be warned that on the PlayStation TV, you will have to go into the settings and then the accessibility options, and then from there, you are gonna have to remap the buttons to match what the game needs. Now, if you have one of these controller adapters already, I would just recommend using one of these. It works with both the Titan 1 and the Titan 2 because you can save multiple profiles on here, and so you can save all of your button mapping on here and then just switch to that, toggle to that profile, that saved profile on here in You know, it saves like 10 different profiles on here, and you can just toggle it with a button. It's super easy. Then you don't have to go back into the settings and remap everything whenever you switch it out. So highly recommend one of these anyway, even if you are using this. But hey, if you just want to test it out, it's great. You don't need to buy any extra hardware. Just as long as you have your whitelist hacked, you can go ahead and use one of these. All right, so if you're using either of the controller adapters, it's pretty simple to hook up. First thing you're going to want to do is remap the buttons. So you'll hook it up to the computer with a USB cable, and then you can use the G-Tuner software to remap the buttons. And you can even have this plugged in with the controller and everything if you want to view the output and the button presses coming through on the controller at the same time. It does make it pretty useful for figuring out which buttons to remap. When you're done programming it, you can unplug it or leave it plugged in. And then from there, you can just plug it right into the back of the PlayStation Vita TV. And then on the back of that, you would plug in your drum controller. So super simple. And here you can see, this is like the saved profiles. You can save multiple profiles with macros and scripts and, you know, remapped buttons. All that information can get saved onto up to 10 different profiles. Now, pretty much the same process with the Titan 2, except you've got two controller inputs you can use, either one of those. And then on the back, we've got the programming port and the output to the PlayStation Vita TV. So here I am watching the output from the Titan console tuners, and I am remapping the buttons. I can see on the display which button presses are going through, and then I can go back to the remapping tab and remap the buttons from there. So super simple to use. Now I've used these console tuners for multiple different things. Even for grinding certain trophies, like the really tedious ones that are like, you know, kill X number of a certain type of creature, I would just record a macro and have it loop over and over and over again all night or whatever, you know. For those tedious ones that are just ridiculous, I will sometimes grind those out. But yeah, you can do a lot of different things with these, and there's like a whole community of people that create scripts for various games. You can go and download other people's scripts that they've created for specific games. It's just a really super useful tool. And that's one thing that the Titan 1 and Titan 2 have that I noticed a lot of other controller adapters don't have. Others are usually just adapters, or they may have button remapping, but these can do so much more. So basically the drum has 4 input registers. You have left side face, right side face, left side edge, and right side edge. These are the 4 buttons that you may have to remap. Now different drums will use different buttons for those 4 inputs, so you'll just have to test your drum and find out which buttons it's using. For Taiko Drum Master V on the PlayStation Vita, you'll want to remap the left side face to any of the 4 buttons on the D-pad. Right side face should be any of the 4 action buttons, circle, square, triangle, cross. Left side edge should be remapped to the left trigger, and right side edge should be remapped to the right trigger. If this isn't suitable, there are a few other control types to choose from in the game settings. So as far as the actual gameplay goes, strike the face of the drum to the beat of the red dawn, and strike the edge of the drum to the beat of the blue cat. Large don and cat will have you strike with both sticks at the same time. It's a lot of fun once you get into the rhythm of it, and it can be a great way to get your body moving without feeling like a chore. Even if you don't jump through all of the hoops to play the Vita version, I still recommend playing this on the Switch or PlayStation 4 using the actual drum controller. Now I noticed the response time on these are actually pretty good. You can see just by frame stepping, I noticed that it has maybe 1 or 2 frame offset. So it's really not bad, and this Taiko Drum Master game is actually pretty forgiving in that regard too. So 1 or 2 frames isn't going to make a difference at all. And actually, I mean, that 1 or 2 frame delay could be what you're exactly getting from the input on the Vita as well. I didn't test that. That might just be a delay in the software. Now, since we're going through all the effort of modifying the whitelist so that we can play the game, I figured, hey, this does have an English patch available, so we might as well install the English patch as well. So here we have Taiko Drum Master in English on the PlayStation Vita TV. Now the actual Vita 2000 model does have a USB port on it, but it is for charging. I don't know if there are any specific hacks or patches that you can use to convert this into a regular USB port, but if you could, there is the possibility that you might be able to use these drums with the proper adapter on a PlayStation Vita Model 2000 as well. All right, well, I obviously have a lot more practicing I need to do. Now that I finally have the drum controller, it's a lot more fun playing with the drum. Now I see why it's so popular on Nintendo Switch. I'll probably have to pick up the Switch version at some point, especially now that I got two controllers that should technically both be compatible with the Nintendo Switch. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. And yeah, I mean, hey, it's Taiko Drum Master with the drum on the PlayStation Vita TV with trophies. So hey, can't go wrong there, right? But yeah, if you guys try out any other brands of drums, like I'm curious about the Hori or some of the other more expensive drums out there, and try experimenting with other controller adapters. I mean, obviously I can't buy all of the drums and all of the adapters. That would be just too much. But yeah, if you guys end up testing any other equipment out, let us know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I will see you later.